What's going on, everybody? I am back. Tag all of your friends, tag everybody, let them know DW is back. I'm going to just assume that the devil is really mad and that there's going to be some really great information. Somebody is going to be inspired, somebody is going to be uplifted. So, listen, technical difficulties, it happens, but we're going to keep going. That's what we do. The difference between a failure and someone who is successful is that the successful person got back up again. So this is what we're gonna do, y'all. Let's start over again. Welcome to the DW experience. Welcome to the DW experience. Welcome to the DW experience. Hey. Welcome to the DW. Tell everybody we back on. Experience. You ready for tonight? Hey. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. I am going to bring to the stage my friend, the talented Markevius Faulkner. Markevius, let's make the devil mad. That's clearly what's going on. If we're getting good, here's the thing, and let's just keep going with it. Is there a time? Listen, I got my questions. I'm ready. See, he thought he was mad, but has there been a time that something like this has happened to you? Have you dropped the mic? Have you forgotten the words? What experience have you had where it's like you had to keep going?
Absolutely, man. I've been on stage where the sound completely goes out, and it's a room sold out show. Like, we got to keep going. You know, if it's what you do, you just do what you do. You don't have to say it ain't your season. The devil all busy. Just do what you do. Boom, keep going. So absolutely, man.
I think a lot of times we look for perfection as opposed to just, going through it and understanding that there are going to be glitches, that there are going to be mistakes. So as we've talked in the interview, we've talked about gifts. You've talked about really your spirituality being important to you. Let me ask you, who is God to Markevius?
God is music. God is truth. God is love. God is peace. God is joy. God is a friend, a comforter. I always thank God for soothing me. Mm-hmm. Thank you for soothing me, because I have moments where I need that kind of peace. Did I say friend already? Because he's definitely a friend. I don't have a whole lot of friends necessarily, but God is definitely a friend. He's a void filler. I can go on and on about.
Yeah. So, I mean, he's so many things to you. So, what is the most difficult decision you've made to pursue your destiny?
I can be honest. I don't know if anything felt difficult. I don't know if anything felt difficult. I honestly feel this way. I feel like God honors my creativity, and I believe God honors my preparedness. So nothing has been very difficult. I always tell people, like, God and I, it's almost like we're business partners. So if I have an idea, I know it comes from him, but if I have a dream or an idea, I write it down and I just ask him to breathe on it. So I only make moves and decisions based on what I wrote, not just what I think. I don't wing anything. I'm very strategic, and I try to be as sound as possible. So nothing has been difficult in the decision making. There's been difficult parts, getting to whatever the goal is, challenges, but I hadn't had any difficult moments in making decisions.
Okay. One of my friends, Dante, he was on earlier, and he mentioned that longevity in any genre is difficult, but seems harder in gospel. Would you consider yourself a gospel artist, and do you think that statement is true in regards to longevity?
I think it I think it has truth to it, and I know what he means when he say that. But I believe the reason why maybe in gospel it can be difficult to have longevity is because gospel is the genre where you're not supposed to be the star.
Mm,
All singing about the star. So you're like the help.
that's
uh,
good.
but a lot of times people in their writing and when they create things, they create to be the star. So it's hard
Hmm.
to break into the industry. Uh, it's hard because you're the focal point. Everything has your name on it. You have the most branding. You're the star. So I think longevity in gospel. In fact, I think people have longer careers in gospel because of the content. Like the content of the music is more emotional. It's a you need it kind of thing. And do I consider myself a gospel artist? If gospel means the good news, then absolutely. But as it pertains to the gospel music industry that we created, I don't necessarily know if I solely only fit in that industry because I like to write things about love. I like to write things about that inspire people, and it's not necessarily saying the name of Jesus all the time, or it's not pushing a certain religion. Uh,
Mm.
so yeah.
Do you think gospel artists miss the mark, like you mentioned, like where gospel music is talking about the star, and we're the conduit, we're the help to the star. Do you think gospel artists miss the mark?
I don't know if I have the grounds to say if gospel artist Mr. Mark, but uh, but I think sometimes just because I'm a songwriter and the way I hear songs written, uh, I think we should write to help others.
Hmm.
So even if you write a song about the pain and the hurt, maybe a part of the song can talk about how someone can not be in pain or not be hurt. So I think in our writing, sometimes we miss the mark. I don't know about character and the industry as a whole, but the content that we put out sometimes I don't think it necessarily always reflect uh, who God is. It reflects who we are. Uh, our isms sometimes, and I think that could be a distraction sometimes.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's not really about character, but do you think a gospel celebrity is oxymoronic? Because if we're talking about the star, should gospel artists be celebrities?
Uh,
Does that? What's your thought on that?
well, the term celebrity, I forget the root word. I studied this, so I should know this. Um, but you celebrate, you celebrate the person uh, for who they are and what they're doing, right? So it's okay to celebrate someone who's impacted millions of people. I think is when our egos kind of comes with the celebration, and now we need a 1,000 piece entourage, and we only want red M&Ms in our dressing rooms. I think
Mm,
those kind of things when our ego comes with the celebrity. It's okay to be a celebrity. Jesus was a celebrity. John the Baptist put him on the map. He was like, I know y'all come to see me, but y'all got to check out this dude. He is the dude. He was a
that's
celebrity.
good. That's
So
good.
I think it's okay to be a celebrity. I don't think it's okay that you're trying to be a celebrity for the clout and for all of that. Then you're really not creative. You're just out here trying to do something. But real creative people naturally are celebrities. You're naturally popular
Mm,
because you're a creator. You don't imitate anybody. So everything you do is brand new, it's organic, and no one's seen it or heard it before because you create from scratch. Before they were called artists, the Bible called them craftsmen. We create, we build things, we build sounds, we build chords, lyrics, structures of songs. We build shows like this because artistic people is not just a musical thing. You're an artist, you build, you're a craftsman. So I think celebrity comes with that because it's new territory, you know.
That's
So,
good.
but ego is where we fall. That's why Lucifer is who he is today because of his ego.
That's good. You are teaching, which brings me to my next point, Melodic Minds Music Academy.
Mhm.
I read somewhere that the school was birthed and helped to be birthed. The pastor of Nehemiah Ministries, Pastor
Kelsey West.
Pastor West, Pastor Kelsey West. Tell us about that story. Tell us a little bit about your music school and how it came about.
Okay, so I created Melodic Minds because I started to realize it was two reasons. I started to realize um, that in churches, especially like smaller churches, uh, they not necessarily struggle, but I'm just going to use the word struggle with having to pay musicians because musicians kind of handle ministry a little differently. They're not there for ministry; they treat it like a gig. So
Mm,
a lot of ministries that mean well struggle because they have to pay out musicians. So I thought it would be really dope. Can I say dope on here? I thought it'd be
yeah,
really
you can say dope.
I thought it'd be really cool to teach young people how to play instruments and learn their craft, and they can play in church because they weren't clouded by the gig mentality of some.
Mm,
They didn't show up smelling like weed all the time, or show up late, or fumbling through songs, or fumbling through songs. So I wanted to create a space to educate young people to play in ministry as well. But I also wanted to bridge the gap between singers and musicians because singers don't necessarily feel like they're musicians, and musicians sometimes feel like they're auto mechanics. Like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. We're gonna play it in this key. So I wanted to create melodic minds. That's why I call it melodic minds because the voice is the first instrument. That's the most
yeah.
important instrument. If you out somewhere and there's a band playing, um, nobody's gonna be like, shh, let's listen to the jazz band way off in the corner. It's beautiful instruments. You're just gonna be talking because it's called ambiance music. But if someone gets on their microphone and say, "Hello, everybody, shh, someone's speaking." That's the most important instrument. So I wanted to let singers know that you have a very important instrument, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna teach you how to play your instrument, and you are also a musician. So that's the reason why I have melodic minds to let people know like you have an instrument. Your whole body's an instrument. Play it.
That's good. Fun fact about Marquivas. Marquivas has perfect pitch.
Relatively.
Do you have perfect pitch? Or I think you have perfect pitch.
Relatively. It depends on
What,
the
what key is my theme song in?
your theme
If
song is in the key of B.
you picked it out.
Right.
You play the piano.
I,
How many instruments do you play?
uh, I play a few instruments. I understand a lot of instruments. I play piano. I play a little acoustic guitar. I play trumpet, trombone, uh, a little organ, little drums. But I understand other instruments because I study the science of like treble clef and the science of bass clef and those kind of things. So, and voice. I sometimes see I'm forgetting about that instrument.
Yeah.
I play that instrument as well. So,
What keeps you humble? And why teach instead of you could be doing all of these things for yourself. Why do it for other people? And what keeps you humble?
um, it's and I'm gonna answer the question backwards. It's not that I don't do things as an artist because I'm a craftsman.
Right.
Uh, so I build and create because I have a certain message as well. But what keeps me humble, I'm not lifted. You know what I mean? Like I'm not around people that have me all elevated sky high. So I don't
Mm,
have to like work so hard on being humble. Like I'm just who I am. Like I've always, it's just it's just who I am, you know. So
What do you love that people say about you?
uh, I actually like when people think I'm funny.
Okay.
Because I think I'm funny sometimes. So
Okay.
when people think I'm funny, I think that's pretty cool because I can be hilarious at times. My whole family's really funny.
Really? Okay. So what let me ask you this also. What is a misconceptions that your friends have about you? What is it that your friends believe about you that's absolutely untrue?
Well, it's hard to answer that because as you, my friend, you would kind of know. But I would just say, just people in general. Um, I think I come across extremely outgoing,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not as outgoing as I come across.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when you're working and doing things in your purpose and your gift, it just naturally pushes you out. It's not that I am trying to be outgoing like that, but it just naturally pushes you out. So most people probably think I'm like this big, huge social butterfly that likes to be up front and have my name on things. But the truth is, I like to be at home. I like quiet,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
peaceful things. Yeah.
And it's, I mean, you wear so many hats. We haven't even delved into you are back in school. You have pledged Phi Beta Sigma. You do so much outside of music, also. What drives you? Like, what? Why did you decide to go back to school? What made you join Phi Beta Sigma? Did I say that right?
Yeah. Yeah. So the reason why I went back to school, and this is it's not a long story. I was just telling a fraternity brother like 45 minutes ago. Uh, my father wasn't necessarily in my life consistently uh,
Mm-hmm.
in the household, so
Mm-hmm.
I didn't understand why I carried the last name of a guy that I didn't have a tight relationship with. I knew my mom, I knew that side of the family, but I didn't know my father and that side very well. So, uh, and I'd be telling him like I'd be apologizing because I don't always share the flip side of the story. We have a great relationship now. Like God brought that thing like full circle. So the reason why I want to go back to school is not because I feel like I need to have letters behind my name because I'm not one of those pro go to college. I'm not that person necessarily. But me having identity issues growing up and carrying my last name, my first name is already kind of weird, and then carrying a last name, you don't know a legacy. Um, I went back to school because me knowing my father now and knowing his father and knowing the desires and passions and who I am on the Faulkner side, I wanted to go back to school, not just for me, but so my family could be proud of something as well. And so, my father and his father and so forth can be proud. So that's why I went back to school, to be honest, to create some meaning behind my name. And also, I know a lot of people in my family didn't have the opportunity to go to college, and I had the opportunity uh, to finish. I don't necessarily feel like I need it, but I had the opportunity to do it.
Okay, I want to talk about that a little bit. We're going to play a game in a little bit, but talking about your father and
He's probably
the
watching.
shout out to Mr. Faulkner. It's going to be good stuff. But what would you say to people who don't have the greatest relationship with their parent, with their mother or their father? It's very interesting how you talked about identity and knowing yourself. So how did your relationship get better? What would you say to those? Because I believe there are people who are going to be watching who need to hear this. What would you say to them?
It's the F word
Okay.
for
Okay.
me.
Yeah.
For
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
you have to not blame people for whatever they didn't do. You have to understand that, especially if your parents meant well, or they may have had their own challenges, you have to forgive even without the apology. And I feel like that is the key. Like I forgave, I've forgiven my dad, I've forgiven my mom, I've forgiven whoever, however my upbringing was. And I also have to forgive myself and move out of my own way. So some people use it like motivation. Yeah, I'm for the beat because nobody was in my life, and I'm for the yeah. But the truth is, you hurting, and you really want your daddy, and you 45, but you really still want your daddy. You still want your mom.
When
So
did you forgive yourself?
uh, it was a while ago. It had to been maybe 2008, the
Mm.
start of my artistry. As an independent solo artist, that's what like gave me the freedom to just like go on and do the thing. You gonna be okay. You forgiven yourself. You forgiven your upbringing. You forgiven whatever. Because people did the best they could. So yeah, that's the key. I feel like it's forgiveness.
That's really good. Like, so I think sometimes we don't take into consideration that we're all doing the best that we can, and that our level or our ability, everybody's level is different. That's one thing I learned, even with my father, is that he gave me what he could give me, and he
Mhm.
wasn't able to give me any more. And that was something I had to really, really accept. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's really
I
good.
believe God. I believe God set it up for me that way so He could like have a space. Because if I just had my daddy would have been like whoo to me. And because he wasn't like woo to me, God had opportunity to be woo to me, right? So I would have been all in because I love pretty hard, you know. So I would have been my daddy, my mama, my daddy, my mama. But God flawed them just enough for me that He had like some space that I needed Him, like I needed God. So yeah,
Can we just pause right there because what you said was just heavy. God flawed them so that you could have the opportunity to be closer to God. We don't always look at situations like that.
yeah,
That was a good aha moment.
yeah.
All right. So we are going to switch over into this game I've created for the DW experience called Truth or Sing.
Sing, Lord.
Truth or Sing, yes. Shout out to the wonderful people who do Song Association. One of my inspirations, shout out to Terrell G. Rice. So he inspired this game. So the object of the game, you can either, it's kind of like Truth or Dare, but Truth or Sing.
Okay.
So um, I am going to ask you a question. You can choose to answer or you can choose to sing. If you choose to sing, I will give you a word that you have 10 seconds to either sing it in the song or the word is in the title.
All right.
Okay?
Okay, got you.
All right. So we'll start with something easy. When is the last time you cried?
About an hour ago.
What happened?
I was just telling a fraternity brother the story of how God mended my relationship with my father. Uh,
Hmm.
I was sharing with him how I got to see my dad like get baptized and how we like text and how cool we are now. And my face was wet from
That's
joy. From joy.
okay. That's good. I like that. Um, who's the worst artist that you have ever worked with? You want to sing?
Yep.
Okay. The word is more. 10 seconds.
What's the song with more in it? Is that my alarm?
Yeah, that's your alarm.
I
It's
can't
okay.
think of anything with more. What has more in it?
Um, I give you more, more. I don't know.
Yeah, that song, Lawrence Flowers. Yeah, sorry, I was gonna think. I want more, 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 Jesus, more of you. Give, I need so much more, Jesus, more, more, more. I don't know who sing this song. You know the song? Did it do it again? went away again. You want to just Facebook Live me or something? Unplug it, plug it in.
I've never had this happen before.
There it is. I can hear you now.
I've never had this happen before. Like this computer has been nice to me. My mic has been nice to me. And we're gonna get through a couple of more questions. Okay, so you lost that first round, just to be clear, okay?
Okay.
Okay. What is a secret you've kept from your parents?
A secret I've kept from my parents, like which one? is the question. Your phone went out again. Unmute yourself.
Answer or sing. You can answer or you can sing.
I'll sing.
Okay. The word is Jehovah. Now, if you don't get this right, I'm going to fight you.
Jehovah God,
thank you.
I reveal my confused heart. Unlock this firm and well-built guard. There you go.
Very good.
I was sharp.
This is what I'm going to do. You can still hear me?
Yep.
I'm going to get everything out of this, and then I want to have you back on when we get all the technical difficulties out of the way. But what is the song that's gotten you through 2020? What is your song that when you felt low or just with everything that's going on, what has been that one song that has gotten you through 2020?
There's two songs.
Okay.
I've been listening to Karen Clark Sheard, Holy Thou Art Holy.
Okay.
A Holy Thou Art God, I believe it's called. That song is just so skillfully written. I've been listening to that song all last year. And then Twinkie Clark is like a Clark sister thing, which is very random for me. She has a song called Worship the King.
Can you sing a little bit of it?
There's a praise on the inside, my soul is satisfied. Something like that. I love that song so much, man. I get emotional when I hear that song. But that song, Holy Thou Art Holy and Worship the King, like, man.
Markevius, you can sing. I mean, we know you can sing, but let me give you some more words because I just want to hear you sing. The next word is love.
Love. Did I hear you sing this before? So many things I've got to tell you, but I'm afraid I don't know how. 'Cause there's a possibility that you look at me differently, love. That's it. I had a surgery on my mouth, man, so I sound horrible right now. So
you know what? Here's what I
it went away when you did something. I was hearing you at first. Unmute yourself. Oh. We could have just FaceTime. You want to just Facebook Live me, or it has to be on this platform, right? Unmute yourself.
What is your advice to up and cut? See, I'll say this. Number one, well, let me just say this, Daryl Walter. Whatever you are doing, don't give up. Don't quit. Markevius, you said it best. Don't despise small beginnings. I'm going to put my notes to the side. What I do know for sure is that there are going to be stumbling blocks and roadblocks. And this is the lesson that I'm getting out of it. This is not an opportunity to fail or give up or lay down. And a lot of you out there, you are on your way to greatness, but you may have hit a stumbling block. You may have hit a time where your sound has went out, but you haven't lost your voice. So I just want to say, don't give up. You're a teacher, you're an entrepreneur, you're an artist, You are a man. You are not just the jack of all trades. You are the master of many trades. You do everything with excellence. As
Mhm.
someone in this business who has longevity, you have worked with many artists. You have artists that you are developing. Kaylee, is it the young lady? Austin, you have, and
Austin, yeah.
and the other lovely young singer.
Uh,
Um,
which one? Lindsay.
Lindsay, you pour into them. What would be your advice to young Markevius, to young Austin, to young Lindsay? What would you say to these artists that are coming up now in 2021?
Just keep creating. Whatever you see, execute it. But I'm really big on writing it down. You have to write it down. When you write it down, it's real. You can ball it up, you can rip it, it becomes real. Write it down. It's
Mm,
not real if it's just in your mind. So even for yourself, what you just did is what David has done in the Bible. He encouraged himself, and how you flipped it to encourage somebody else. This is platform, this is technology. It's flawed, right? But it's flawed just enough where it keeps you humble, and God is going to elevate you. This is nothing. You running all that right now. Wait till you get to the point where your producers come up to your room and say, "We're ready for you," because they're running sound, they're running cameras, they're running lighting and all that. So I'm gonna answer the question, but you be encouraged, because, like I said, do not despise the small. I'm getting excited. Do not despise the small beginnings. And for any artist, any creator, any craftsman, I should say, just keep creating and be who you are. And whatever you see, strategize, try to execute what you see, and don't let everybody get in your ear. Everybody don't see what you see. People mean well, but they don't see what you see.
they don't see what you see. Listen, going into 2021, first of all, let's talk about some of your music. You came out with your single last year, and I was just playing it.
I won't
Uh,
fail you.
2020, the title of your song is, what is the title of your song?
I won't fail you.
How did that come about? Tell us a little bit about it.
That's actually the only song on my album that I didn't write. I didn't write "I Won't Fail You." It's written
Mm,
by a guy named David Gillard and Marquis Walker. They presented me with the song. It was going on a Memphis compilation album. They presented me with a song. I was like, man, this song hot. but but it was definitely, I definitely connected with the song. It's just my plea to God, like, no matter what I'm doing, no matter if I do stray away, I promise you I won't fail you. I know what you told me, and I know you trust me, and I trust you. So I'm gonna keep doing what I gotta do, because I do not want to fail you.
what is one thing that you want to leave the people with? What should people know about Markevius? Like when it's all said and done, what do you want people to know?
I want people to know that God is bigger than your religion. God is bigger than your denomination. God is bigger than your own self righteousness, your attitude,
Mm,
your creativity. Uh, God is not just an American God. God is a
mm,
global God, and I want people to know that God, while we're so into ourselves artistically and musically, the Bible says that God created the birds in the sky, the beasts in the field, the fish in the water, the vegetation that grew out of the ground. And out of everything that he created, God said, and it was good. So before there was a Markevius, before there was a Daryl, before there was a Kimberell, or a Stevie Wonder, whomever, God had already praised himself and said it was good. So God don't necessarily need us to be celebrities and be stars musically, because God created praise and worship. God created everything and then pat himself on the back. So I want people to know, like, that God is bigger than who we are. He is massive. Whatever, all that God is his. The Bible says his ways and his thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So just don't put limits on God. God may not come in the form of your religion or your church or the music that you think is saving people, because some people get blessed in other genres, to be honest. Uh,
yeah.
I didn't come to God at the altar saying Jesus real fast. I didn't find God that way. I found God in other music. I didn't grow up in church necessarily.
Mm.
So I found God in other ways. And you have to be liberal in your mind and your heart enough to know that God is a liberal God.
That's so good. I mean, people would assume that you did grow up in church. So to even hear that conversation, but the knowledge you just dropped, God being a global God, beyond our religion, beyond our own thoughts. Markevius, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Everybody, they can find you on all social media platforms. Where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Markevius, the number 4, real, REAL, Facebook, Markevius Faulkner, and Markevius Faulkner 2. It's just because I've been on Facebook so long,
You got a lot of friends. You popular.
You run out
You
of,
popping.
yeah, you got to create another one. So yeah, you can find me on there. You can also find me on like iTunes, all those digital download platforms where my music is on there as well.
Listen, I just want to say thank you again. I mean, and I think we'll do some more conversations down the road. But my heart and my intention, as I told you already, is to encourage, uplift, and inspire. And listen, if you are not encouraged from this conversation, if you are not uplifted and inspired, I literally have goosebumps on my skin because the goal was set, and I really believe we met that intention. Markevius, you are an amazing human being, and I know that this is only the beginning of your school, of your artistry, of your craft. I cannot wait to see all the great things that you are doing. Don't forget, he has a vocal exercise tape that you can get on there, and also follow him on Instagram. He gives great tips. And if you have kids out there, if you are an adult, if you want to learn how to play, if you want to learn how to produce, if you want to learn how to sing, I have taken vocal lessons from Markevius, and he knows I'm on my way back. But he is the real deal. And for a lot of you singers and artists out there, you need a vocal coach. You need a vocal coach. That is one thing I have learned. At some point, you need a vocal coach. You don't know everything. You need somebody to help you be better. But I just want to say thank you to everyone. Markevius, it's been a pleasure, and we will do this again.
Absolutely. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Listen, y'all, it has been a pleasure. We had technical difficulties, but I think the biggest lesson in all of that, no matter what, don't give up, don't stop, don't quit. When you face stumbling blocks, when you hit roadblocks, that is just only telling you to keep going. You are closer to the blessing. You are closer to the goal than you think you are. And I don't know who needs to hear that tonight, but this show is just to remind you that you are closer to the blessing than you think you are. And as my friend Carlin Markevius just said, yes, God is big and God is global. So I will see you all next week with another special guest, the artist of Veer. And you all have a great week and stay warm out there. Take care, everybody. I love y'all. Don't nobody else tell you I love y'all. And just take a listen to this great commercial.
Have you always wanted to learn to play an instrument, write a song, or work with a vocal coach? Melodic Minds Music Academy is more than your average studio for beginner and professional music lessons. Here at Melodic Minds, we strive to use music as a vessel to build self-confidence, respect, and discipline to help our students accomplish their goals and dreams. For several years, Melodic Minds has created a culture that fosters artistic creativity. We teach aspiring musicians, songwriters, performers, and singers of all ages and learning capacities. Visit us at www.melodicmindsmusicacademy.com. Click, enroll, and start perfecting your craft today.